In studio right now is Jordan Karp. Jordan, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You have some good news, and I love the fact that for the premiere of this, and this is anticipated as a really big movie, Spiderman, you guys are going to be serving your product there, right?
Yeah, we were invited to have our Bourbon and American Whiskey out at the LA premiere of Spiderman, which is pretty awesome.
I thought you were going to be at the theater in New Hartford.
Maybe that too. If New York State has to change its laws to allow the alcohol to be served.
Can we talk about that just for a second? I am just so bothered by listening to everybody talk about how, well, people wouldn't be responsible. You could say that about a fork. Right? I mean, you aren't going to responsibly use the fork.
I think it's beer and wine only. I don't think it's hard liquor.
Oh, you're right.
At movie theaters. But I mean,
that was my disappointment.
People can also be, irresponsible at bars and restaurants as well.
We were at a dance competition, my daughter's dance competition, and at what's the theater in the Capitol Theater? No, what's the theater in Syracuse?
The Landmark?
Landmark, at the Landmark Theater. Do you know they have a full bar there? They were doing, honest to God, all these mothers are coming in with their kids, bringing these giant bags in, and they're doing up mimosas and Bloody Marys and vodka on the rocks. It's
fantastic.
To me, give the people their choice and allow them to be responsible. If you're irresponsible, we can't legislate that way.
Personal responsibility. Government can't fix everything, and
right.
and why not let people who are responsible do what they want?
If you're ever at a dance recital and you hear someone shouting "woo woo woo,"
yeah, that's right.
That's Bill in the background.
Yeah,
that's when you need
for
a
his
drink.
daughter.
You need a drink.
Listen, the only thing a drink's going to do for me in the movies is put me to sleep, and that probably would be something my wife would be okay with. All right, so Adirondack Distilling Company in Utica. You're down on Varick. First of all, tell how this all began.
Sure. We had the idea about 5 or 6 years ago at this point, closer to 7, and went to travel a lot of different distilleries in New York starting up, and had the idea to start one in downtown Utica. And we opened 4.5 years ago or so. It's been a crazy journey ever since. And about 6 months ago, we hooked up with Chopin Vodka, which is a Polish vodka company, and they're sort of bringing us into all these different places. So we're now in 11 states with Bourbon and American Whiskey. We always have to make more every day, is what we're told. So and we just won two gold medals at the Los Angeles Spirits Competition.
Nice.
And a silver for the gin. And actually, I was just notified late last night, we won a gold for the gin in the Seattle International Spirits Competition.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
The medals keep rolling in, which is cool. And upstate New York's a great place to make spirits. You know,
the Adirondacks name we completely take for granted. But having that name as the Adirondack Distilling Company, it carries some weight around the country. This is people forget the Adirondacks, legendary through history in terms of where those who are go.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it, to be honest with you. When we had a visit from the Chopin guys, the guys who are in charge of the company live in L.A., and they came to Utica in November to look at our facility and everything like that. And everybody in California knows what the Adirondacks are. And I was shocked.
Yeah,
because we do take it for granted here. It's a real bankable name, I guess you could say. So it does play a role. Geography is a huge part of it, and people don't realize, spirits in a bottle of spirits, it's mostly water. So the water from the Adirondack Mountains is a huge deal, and it's certainly part of the marketing that we're trying to sell.
Especially in Hollywood too, because you talk about the Adirondacks. Some of the biggest names you can think of have camps in Blue Mountain Lake and up there.
We would all be very surprised at the number of people that have camps up there that are celebrities, and this is their little getaway. Of course, Jordan Karp is from Adirondack Distillery, Distilling Company down on Varick Street. Can you come in and tour your facility? And
Absolutely.
See how that's...
we do it by appointment because we've we're only about 6,000 square feet between the main floor and the bottling area downstairs. So we usually do it by appointment just because it gets kind of hot and wet in there because there's machines running all the time.
Yeah.
2 questions. One for you, Jordan. Jordan, this isn't like, we always talk about this American T-ball today where everyone gets an award, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. I think there were, in the LA Spirits competition, I think there were spirits from like 35 countries and thousands of entries. So, yeah.
Wow. And then my other thing is, this is part of the premiere in LA for the new Spiderman. I was just told, do you know that there's another local tie to that?
I don't know.
That who was in the studio with us before, Stephen Buckley, is one of the animators.
Oh, Paul's brother, yeah.
Oh, you're kidding me. Paul Buckley's brother. Did you know that, Jordan?
I did not.
That's really cool.
I learn something new every day.
His brother does amazing work, animation, and it's incredible. Not quite as amazing as the Mayor's Show that's on Sundays on Fox, Paul Buckley. So it is your whiskeys, though, that are going to be premiered there.
Yeah, the whiskeys. The vodka and gin are just in upstate New York and Connecticut and a couple of other places. Chopin, their focus are the brown spirits for us. So bourbon, American whiskey, and we've got some other tricks up our sleeves for the months and years to come. That's
really, really cool. And talk about the difference between whiskey, bourbon, and all the different types. They're really all different types of whiskey, right?
Yeah,
Scotch,
so whiskey is an overall term of spirit that is derived from grain and distilled from grain. So where vodka, you can make it from anything that produces sugar. Whiskeys has to come from grain. So Scotch is a style of whiskey. Bourbon is a style of whiskey. Irish whiskey. Scotch has to be made in Scotland. Irish whiskey has to be made in Ireland. Bourbon has to be made in America. Bourbon, the biggest point about bourbon is it has to be in a new barrel every time. So all bourbon comes from a new charred American oak barrel.
Got it.
That's the big thing. American whiskey for us, we reuse our bourbon barrels before we sell them. So that's and there's some other little differences that are more technical than anything, but it's a different taste. But the big thing about bourbon is new barrel.
And Scotch only comes from
Scotland.
Scotland. That's their version
thing.
of whiskey. And
yeah.
There's an old story about the Kennedys that had an exclusive
with Seagram's
to imports. Really quite interesting story there.
I definitely encourage going down to tour the distilling company, but also our man Jim Rondinelli was there yesterday and took some amazing photos that you can check out at WIBX950.com.
And finally, were you like distilling in college or something? I mean, did you have any background in this?
I used to make mead in college.
Okay.
And so that
what is that? I don't know what that is.
It's like honey alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And I've always had an interest in kind of craft stuff, craft alcohol. So, yeah. But you can't. It's not one of those things where you can just do it in your backyard.
You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's not. It's not an easy process.
Well, Joey used to have eyesight, but now
it's hard to kill somebody.
It is hard.
It is hard to kill somebody.
Yeah, but you can. There's explosion. You got to know what you're doing.
It's alcohol vapor, pressure, and heat, and those are a dangerous combination.
Yes. All right. Well, listen. Congratulations on all your success, Adirondack Distilling, and of course. The LA premiere of the movie Spiderman. Our whiskeys will actually be featured there. That's pretty cool. It's good when we use the word "our" versus yours. That's there's a local loyalty to that, which is
there's an ownership,
which is cool.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.